Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So I wanted to talk about the afterlife and things like that. It was prompted by listening to The Ghost Adventures of Cornwall, which I put in the companion of the Pursuit of Truth, I think it was about last week or a bit before. And I haven't had time to record this, so I don't even remember. It was something in there that that interested me about, when you're dead, and it made me think about it as well. And also I wanted to talk about The Scream, which is a poem that I just put on. That was a real life thing. This morning there was someone screaming outside and shouting, and I heard it from the living room. So I went outside into the back garden, and it must have been like 7 or 8 houses further down somewhere, depending on how far the voice travelled, because it was really quiet. That's all you could hear, the screaming. It could have been some kind of domestic. It was a woman screaming, but it sounded so, as if like someone, I could imagine someone being murdered, or someone, like their child is, someone has done something to their child and has died, and it was that kind of pain. It was real raw emotion. And then actually when I was on the toilet, it came into my head, about the scream, and the few lines that are in the poem, they came to my mind, and then I came down on the phone and wrote it on, was it Reuters, I think, on my phone, and then made an Instagram and did the voice for the YouTube video. So I just wanted to tell you that. So it is sort of connected to what I'm talking about. This, I suppose I wanted to talk about the poem because I tried to get across the idea of sadness and emotional damage that people have and that they keep inside, and the silence and depression and sadness. So that is all sort of mixed into this poem, which was based on a real life thing, but it has a lot more about it in it, and how we live as these separate individuals, but when there's some kind of emotional thing, it brings us all together, like an event. Anyway, so that was about that. And so now I wanted to talk about, excuse the tea, The Ghost Adventures of Cornwall. So I was listening to it. I should have really listened to it again to remind myself, but I seem to remember he was talking about how, like, spirits, when they get trapped. I know there was one that was really good where he was wearing the headphones, listening to the radio, and could hear these voices like they were communicating. I don't think it was that one I put on there, but anyway. So, and I was thinking about it myself, like if you were like in bed, and this was the what I call the moment, the moment when I call it the moment because there's lots of moments I have where I think, oh, I'm going to die, and this is it, and this is the end, like with this breathing thing that I talked about recently. And that moment is the realization that this is the moment when, like someone who's having a heart attack or their last breath before dying of cancer or something. And that moment of knowing that there's no turning back now, this is the end. And just to think about how traumatic that could be. And then you're dead. You're no longer, I was going to say corporeal, is that right? You're in your own body. You're now either you're nothing, or I think he was talking about, like, was it energy, or someone was talking about energy. I saw that that the idea that energy can't just dissipate. I don't know if that's true or not, because the battery does decharge, doesn't it? So could a human body be like a battery that's finally discharged and that's it, and then there's nothing left? But I know there is something about that idea of the energy can't actually just disappear, that it has to transfer, which could buy into the idea of the afterlife, heaven, or reincarnation, depending on what different people believe in. And that idea, I think there was also thinking about, like, the idea of, like, what if there was no heaven or something like that? It's just we're just left there all around. And that might have been it, actually. All these energies. Just, say if I was to die here, my energy would be here, and there could be loads of energies who've lived in this house, because obviously the properties, they move from family to family over time. There could be loads of us. Like, if I could see say the dead, I could see like the whole room full of people. But I suppose the thing is then, and this is where it comes like these, like, is it Tyler Henry or whatever, these not mystics, these mediums who talk to the dead. How, you'd think that if, there'd be like thousands of them, because how many people have died since we became there must be trillions, isn't it? How many people have actually lived and died? And then I was thinking about the idea of the energies all around, and like all these different spirits, if you could talk to them. Like, what if that's how you are? Like, once you're dead, you're just like that spirit of consciousness and that's why maybe some people can talk through the radio or leave voices or move things like poltergeists, or speak to people through their minds or through their dreams. But I guess I was thinking about like the emotional aspect of it. It's gone now, that's why it's not in here. But at the time, it made me quite emotional. I was thinking, if this was my moment, laying in bed, everyone's asleep, listening to Ghost Adventures of Cornwall, and if I was to die now, how I wouldn't be ready, and why that may buy into this idea of that. Some people believe that ghosts are those people that died tragically or weren't ready to pass, and thinking, would I want to pass? Would I want to go on to heaven? Because I want to see my loved ones. I still want to be with them. I don't not want to be with them. So, and imagine you could live your life like that, as that spirit waiting for those ones to pass. And then maybe when they pass, you could all go together. I don't know, it just seems... it just made me quite emotional thinking about that, and like that moment of parting. Parting is such sweet sorrow, as Shakespeare would say. And that moment of leaving your body and maybe being able to look down upon yourself dead and seeing the reaction of your loved ones, knowing that now you're lifeless and they can't bring you back, and only you have the moments of before. You don't have any more future moments with that now corpse. And to see your children calling for you and shouting, "Daddy, wake up," and to not have any of those moments anymore, knowing that they have to live on without you and have to deal with it and live now with this pain inside them that they can never alter, never change. That's often what I think about with death, when I think of those people that I've been attached to who have gone. That you can't bring it back. Thinking of my cat Tom, it's gone, it's done now. There's no way I can bring it back. All those moments you never thought they would end, and now they have ended. It does seem very cruel when you think about the passing, death, as it were. And I do think, like, what would I want to do if I was dead now? I'd want to see my family. I'd want to somehow be able to interact with them. Would that be fair? Maybe then they would feel happy, if you could tell them that, yes, I'm dead, but it's okay. But the thing is, it's not okay for them, is it? Because for them, they have to now live their whole life until they die, thinking about you and wishing that you were still there, wishing they could talk to you, wishing they could interact with you, wishing that you was not just memories, that you were making new memories, having the existence, this coexistence with each other. I don't know if this is really what I wanted to talk about, but maybe I'll listen to it again and then do another one of these videos if it's not what I wanted to talk about. But I seem to remember it interested me, this idea of these energies that could all be around us. Some people obviously believe that these energies is God, and I think I was also thinking, like, once all these energies are dissipated, maybe that's when the end of time comes. They all then will fit and make God again. Maybe God was this big energy, and he dispersed himself out to create the universe and everything in it. And then once everything is gone, it's all back together, then it's God again, and then maybe the same thing happens again. I don't know, but that would explain, like, that God is always with us and that God is in our image. That's the sort of just thinking now. But yeah, I really should have listened to it first before I made this, because maybe it was something completely different I wanted to talk about. But I wanted to make one of these videos, and I just thought about that and the Scream. So I'm waffling on now, so I'm going to end it. Yeah, please put your views, your comments, what you think, share, and etc. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.